What's going on, guys? It's Cal again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we are finally ready to do the review of this guy. This is the Holt Haptic, proudly sent by my good friend and brother, Kevin Lefty EDC. He got this thing and was freaking crazy over this thing. And there's a reason. The Holt Haptic and the Holt Spectre, both of those are the knives that came out of Holt Bladeworks, or Knifeworks, Bladeworks, I think it's Bladeworks, that are out of Iowa, so American made. The Spectre is no longer being made. I'm not sure if they're going to come back with that. It was actually a little bit longer of a blade than the Haptic, but the Haptic is a welcome knife design coming out of Holt Bladeworks, because the other one was kind of like a really pointy drop point, and then this one is a sheep's foot blade with a hollow grind, and they do it right. This one in particular is in S90V, and I want to say that that actually is pretty rare because most of the ones that I've seen have been M390 or 20CV, and so I believe maybe this was some kind of a sprint run or something. I can't remember, but S90V for a blade like this, which is an EDC blade, a very, very nice EDC blade, I think works great because I don't see anybody taking this out in the woods on the trail with them and using it in that capacity. I think it is just a very classy, everybody hates the term gentleman's knife. Yeah, because it is absolutely beautiful. You know what? I don't think my light is on. Hey, you guys get to see. Oh, I know why it's not on. Because it's not plugged up. Hold on a second. All right, so the light that I wanted to turn on is not turning on. So we have to settle for a very yellow light, and that sucks. So anyways, as you can see, this beautiful, I believe they call it Sea Breeze titanium milling pattern that they put on this, and of course a very nice polished stone wash on this sheep's foot blade. Very nice swedge on the top. Get your really cool pivot hardware. This one is all nude, no anodization, but if you order one or you can get on the books to get one, you can spec it out. It is one of those things where you can tell them the exact voltage of the color that you want and they will do it. So that's really nice. I've seen a lot of these in really cool colors. I personally think that the nude color looks really, really nice. You guys know me, I like bronze colors. So that would be kind of cool. I haven't really seen one in a bronze color, mainly like the blues and the purples and the greens and stuff like that. But I think it's excellent. This one is a flipper only. You guys know how I feel about flipper onlys. But one of the best, one of the absolute best. This thing has a detent on it, which is never going to fail. Ever. I've said that about a lot of knives, and, well, not a lot, because it really doesn't happen a whole lot, but I have said it about others. This one is hands down the best detent for a flipper I have ever felt. I've had the Shiros. Those are really nice, and the action on those are nice, but not having the Shiro in the hand and only going off memory, this is better. It's just better. It's hard to say because, man, the Shiros that I had that were loaned in by some really good friends were absolutely excellent. But this thing, wow. Wow. Now, it should be, right? Because these are not cheap. These are like $1,100. So you're getting premium materials, premium manufacturing, and fit and finish. This thing does have lightning pockets. It is a liner lock, however. Most of the ones, most knives in this caliber almost always frame locks. This one is a liner lock. That is a welcome sight because they did it really, really well. The cutout is great. The access to that lock bar is perfect because you don't have to really do much at all to get that thing out of the way. There is no double clutch because it has a detent ball ramp. I mean, they did it right. And it's really simple things that a lot of knife companies don't do, and I don't know why. But this one, absolutely wonderful. Now, Kevin, Lefty EDC, is obviously the owner of this knife, like I said, and this is a really good knife for a lefty. Now, the pocket clip is not reversible. It is very well done, continuing the milled pattern that is on the scales. But because it is a liner lock, it is very easy to operate left-handed. You don't have to worry about your finger getting on the lock bar or anything like that. So lefties, if you're looking for a high-end knife, this one's a good one. Now, it is on the smaller side for me. The ergonomics are good, but it is on the smaller side. As you can see, you can't see any knife out of there. And there is no finger troll. So ergonomically for me, it's okay, but it's not great. It's not no hot spots, no nothing like that. Everything has got chamfering and rounding all the way around it. You can see the little, I love it when companies do this with a backspacer, whenever the blade sits in it. And you can see, like, you know, perfectly centered, just, of course, it's lefty EDCs. If it wasn't perfectly centered, he'd fucking make it. Which, he did take this knife apart, and he learned a little bit whenever he did it, because this side, or this particular knife, only one side of the pivot is supposed to come out. The other one's supposed to stay in. Of course, we're not going to do anything like that on the channel for us. This is not going to happen. But yeah, I was very impressed with this knife when I got it. It does have jimping on the top, and I love it. I love the jimping on the top. It is, come on. It is very, very well done. And it actually, you know, goes up pretty far on the blade. It's not way back here like a lot of knife companies do. So when I do have this in the hand, my thumb lands on that jimping and is very satisfying and grippy, but not sharp. It's really nice jimping. I like it a lot. And like I said, because I don't have a lot of room here, it's not the most comfortable in the world, because whenever there's a flipper only design, and my finger, which is very fat, by the way, goes in this finger troll and then wraps around the knife, I can almost always feel a little bit of a hot spot, really, on the flipper tab. That's not unique to this knife. It's on every single flipper almost ever. That is just the way it is with my hands. If you got really fat fingers, it's probably going to happen, but it's not like it hurts or anything. I can feel it, though. The jimping on the flipper tab is done very, very nicely, as you can maybe see. Right there, chamfering, you see all along the sides. Very, very nice. It's just a well thought out design, and the manufacturing, the guys just know what they're doing as far as manufacturing. Now, one thing that we'll probably show more of when we flip the knife around to do some size comparisons and some specs is the detent ball is not a detent ball. That's what makes this knife so great. The detent system, you're not going to be able, well, you might be able to. But anyway, we're going to be able to see, we're going to be able to show you this. You see, that's not a ball. That is basically a post or a disc. And I don't know the ins and outs, but it is absolutely perfect on the detent. I can't get over the action on this knife. The hype is real, ladies and gentlemen. If you were thinking that, you know, everybody's talking about the hype of the knife. This thing is so good because it's the newest and baddest thing. This is not my knife. I did not pay for it. If it was shit, I could tell you it was shit and not feel bad, because Kevin and I sometimes don't always agree on what we like. We do on a lot of stuff, but not always. Now, that being said, would I purchase this knife for the money right now? Which we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I want to kind of talk about that. So there are knives out there that are on the secondary market close to this that I have and I like. So this one's not really that close, but it's still inexpensive. The Custom Knife Factory 523. Love this action. D10 obviously is so much different because, excuse me, it is a front flipper, but the fall shut action, absolutely amazing. The Custom Knife Factory Evolution 2.0. D10, freaking amazing. Action, freaking amazing. Now, it's not a fall shut, it's more of a controlled fall shut, as you can see here. Oy, but I love it. I absolutely love it. So, you know, somewhere close, especially on the secondary market, these things are closer than that, but they weren't brand new. And then, of course, one of my all-time favorite knives, the Koenig Arius. Also made in America with wonderful milling patterns, premium materials, and just a killer action. So, the reason that I probably would not have this knife in particular in my collection is because of the operation to open it. It's only a flipper. If this had another opening mechanism, I would probably be all over this. But I've almost really gotten away from buying flipper-only knives. You've heard me talk about this before, but it really is a thing. The front flipper is a little bit different for me, but even on my 523, I want like a V-slot, like the Viros have on this knife, so I can middle finger flick it. Now, you can put your finger there and kind of flick it out like that because the detent is so light that you can. But that's just the way my collection and my taste have gone. I love this knife, but I just don't see myself buying one because of that. That's the only reason, though. There is no doubt in my mind this is one of the highest premium knives on the market today. Can you get one? Yes, but you're going to pay for it, and it's very, very hard to find. We usually do cut tests, but I'm not going to do a cut test, even though Lefty would tell me to do it anyway. I'm not going to do it. This is a very beautiful stonewash sheep's foot blade that comes to about 17 thousandths behind the edge with this hollow grind, and it cuts. Trust me, it cuts. But I mean, well, okay. I'll tell you what we'll do. He'll be okay with me cutting cardboard, and it cuts. I'm just not gonna cut. I'm not gonna use the twisted sisal rope. We'll say that. It cuts, and it cuts well. This is a very, very nice premium EDC blade that carries very well. It's not very big. For me, that's, it's kind of an issue because I like the bigger knives. But for most people, as an EDC blade, especially something that's really nice and premium, where you nice watch, you have your nice threads on, this is something to accompany you when you're dressing up, or if you're going to work. It can do that too. It's definitely well built enough to handle anything that you can come across. So let's go ahead and turn the camera around and get a closer look at this thing, and then we'll also get some specs and some size comparisons of this beautiful Holt Haptic. Oh, righty. Let's take a better look at this Sea Breeze, I believe what it's called, milling pattern on these titanium handles. Just look at the intricacies of that milling pattern. Now, I am in manufacturing, and so me looking at this pattern really close up, I can definitely see that this is very intricate and hard to pull off because everything is smooth, symmetrical, and just wonderfully executed to make a wonderful grip on this bad boy. I mean, because it's, it's titanium, but it's textured enough to give you grip where you just don't feel like this thing's going to come out of your hand like some, plain tie models. Like the plain Jane Arius, I believe, would probably feel like that. Matter of fact, it did feel like that when I borrowed Jake over at Bearded Gears. But I did choose, was able to purchase the textured model, and I do like that better, I have to admit. So just look at this blade. The camera's probably not going to pick it up very well, but this stone wash on this S90V, I've actually heard from quite a few people, is very hard to pull off. A good mirror stone wash is hard on S90V, but they did it. They did it on the Spyderco Paysan. They've done it on a couple of other models, and I think this is as nice as the Paysan. I can't really tell, because it was beautiful on the Paysan, but I don't have that here in front of me. All I can say is this one is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Get you a good look at the pivot and the pocket clip. Pocket clip works well. Doesn't sit exactly deep carry, but it sits deep enough for, I think, most people's preferences. There is your backspacer. This is really cool. Just a nice little touch that they do on the backspacer with these almost like arrow cuts that they have. Very, very nice. Makes for a very sturdy knife. We're going to use my gift from Mr. Lefty EDC. This is the Olight i5T, i5T EOS to show you, if I can. All right, you see right there where you would usually see, I don't know if I can get this to show you very well or not, where you would usually see a detent ball. That's not a ball. That is a post. I don't really know the technology that kind of goes into it. All I can tell you is this design is wonderful because it's the detent, right? And it's perfect on this knife. So, in my opinion, do I expect to see things like this happening on other knives? I do. Other knife companies need to pay attention to this because detents are important. They're really important to somebody like me now, especially, and to somebody like Lefty EDC. He's a detent snob. Now, I'm not as much of a detent snob on other opening mechanisms, such as an opening hole or a thumb stud, but on a flipper, I am. If it's a weak flipper and it doesn't want to deploy reliably, then I don't like it. Now, let's just kind of give you an example here. All right, so here's the riffle. Riffle for a budget knife works really, really good. Now, I'm trying to fail it, and this is another one where I say that I can, but it takes a good effort to try to fail this guy. So you can get good detents on, lower end knives. This one is about $55, $60. But then you have other knives, which I hope Curtis Ivito is not watching, because this is not really meant to be a flipper. The design of this is supposed to be where the finger guard comes down, but everybody uses it as a flipper, obviously, and it is not good as a flipper. No detent for the flipper at all on this guy. And so a lot of knives do operate like that, and when they're, on as a flipper onlys, and it just drives me crazy. I don't really have many other flipper only knives, because I just don't like them. So let's go ahead and get some specs on this guy. Like I said, it is not a very big knife, but it fits my hand barely. It is only about 7.4 inches, 7.41 inches overall. The blade length is 3.24. The blade width is the blade thickness rather is about 135 thousandths. You've got a handle overall length of about 4 inches and 170, and then a blade width of about 0.75. And like I said, this hollow grind is, it's not a very tall blade, but the hollow grind is done so well. Let's see if I can kind of get a picture of this. The hollow grind is done so well that it comes down to like 17 thousandths behind the edge. Sometimes I got about 16.5 thousandths. So very nice job on the blade geometry. And for this price range, obviously you really expect that, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put some regular size comparisons up against this guy so you will have an idea on the size. Here it is against the PM2. Obviously, the PM2 is bigger, longer, definitely a wider profile. This one definitely is going to carry a lot better. And, of course, it's just a more premium knife. Here it is against the Spyderco Para 3. These are just so you can get an idea of the size. More Para 3 size of a knife right here. So if you are somebody with larger hands like me, you might try to get your hands on a Spectre because those are larger blades, but still not too bad. Not too bad at all, especially if you are a flipper guy and that's what you like. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, even if you have big hands, buy this. It's that good. Now, we will go ahead and put it up against some of the other more higher-end production knives that I have. Like I said, the Koenig Arius, which both of these American-made. Koenig Arius, definitely a larger knife. Same kind of materials. You got M390, S90V, titanium. Just really good American-made products that I can 100% recommend. Still one of my favorite knives of all time right here. And then, of course, we will put it up against the Custom Knife Factory Evolution 2.0, definitely a larger knife, but still in the same kind of range. You definitely have different ergonomics, different kind of blade shapes, but, secondary pricings on these are still maybe a little bit less than those. It's just absolutely crazy. And then, of course, I'm not even going to bring out the Custom Knife Factory 523 because it is a behemoth and is nowhere near the size of this guy. So anyways, can I recommend this knife? Oh my God, yes. I really have enjoyed this blade. The action is superb and one of the best that I have ever felt, especially on a flipper. And of course, with that detent coupled with the action, you just can't get better than this. You really, really can't, because even the Koenig Arius flipper, because I have the flipper delete version, so I can't kind of compare to that, but whenever I did have a flipper version on the channel, the detent is, if I can remember correctly, definitely worlds better on this, but that one also has an opening hole, so it does need to be a little bit lighter for you to be able to do that, so I definitely give it a pass. If you're a flipper lover, you need this knife. If you are a collector, you need this knife. If you're a flipper lover and you're not a collector, I can totally see it. You're not going to spend that kind of money. I get it. I said that at one point, and then I just spent $950 on a knife. Yeah. So, guys, I can recommend it. I love it. Definitely, just kind of keep your eye out on the Facebook groups, on Reddit, and whatnot, because they're not available right now. Definitely go over to the website, which I will have linked down below, and get on a mailing list and stuff so you can kind of see when they are going to be available, and then look at the options that he has. I love you all. I really do. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking it out with me. Stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.